Well, this is it. The time has come. I have sold my Sony NEX-FS100. But that doesn't mean this is necessarily the end of this camera for me. And let me talk about why. This is kind of my post-sale final video of the camera. And there's a couple things that I really want to talk about. In light of a couple videos that have come out recently, I wanted to bring up a couple things and talk about this camera specifically and my thoughts about it. So I guess let's just get right into this. Got a list right here what I want to talk about. First up, the image quality of this camera. So it is, for all intents and purposes, it's a cinema camera. It's a low-end introductory cinema camera from 2010, give or take. I don't remember what year specifically it came out, but it was a camera built around then using that technology. It's 1080p, 8-bit 420 internal, and 8-bit 422 external. The codec it uses is an MPEG-2 AVC HD codec, which for all intents and purposes, it's a relatively low bit rate. I think it maxes out at like 35 megabit per second or so, in 1080p 60 frames per second, but I could be completely off at that. Regardless, my shooting scenario with that camera, for the most part, was either 60p or 24p. The image quality, again, it was 1080p. And in that codec, it was relatively limited on the amount of data that it could have. So what did I do? I basically tried to maximize the amount of data in that was being recorded by creating my own picture profile, and again, picture profiles other people could use along with it. And it looks like quite a few people like those picture profiles because it seems like there's a few people that are actually using them. Which brings me to the next thing I'm going to bring up. The picture profiles are the biggest selling point of this camera, minus of course XLR and the easy controls on the side. But the picture profiles, again, they make or break the image that this camera is capturing. And my goal with all of the time I spent kind of digesting all the different options of the picture profiles was to find the best colors and the best dynamic range, and then mesh the two together to create the best image I could possibly make out of this camera. And that's kind of where this comes full circle with that picture profile that I created and the images that we're capturing. The image that was created with the FS100, I grew to absolutely love. And throughout this video, I'm sure I'm gonna have it littered with different clips that I've captured over the course of the last 3 years of my ownership. But this camera to me was, number one, my introduction into the cinema camera lineup, but number two, its image was unlike anything else I've been able to find. Unlike anything else I've seen other cameras create or recreate or anything. It was an image that I enjoyed straight out of camera, and it was an image that I found very easy to use, very easy to modify, and that didn't require much in terms of grading to get it exactly how I wanted it. And that's kind of the pitfall of some of these videos I've seen relatively recently of this camera and what its capabilities are. You need to work around its capabilities and its limitations, but once you truly get familiar with it and you learn how to use it as it's supposed to be used, then there really isn't many pitfalls. I feel like I'm just rambling at this point. It's a camera you have to work within its limitations and really target and focus on its strong points. To me, its image and the image that I ended up getting with the picture profile is one of its strong points. The dynamic range of it, sure, it could have had more, but I had no problem with it once I learned how to expose it properly and how to use it properly. The resolution, well, any of the recent customers, clients, videos I've made have all been 1080p, or when I'm using an anamorphic lens on there, once I de-squeeze it, it's technically below 1080p. But no one had any questions, any comments, any concerns, any problems with that limitation of the camera. And that's kind of that. I mean, I talked about the image quality, I talked about the picture profiles, I talked about the camera setup, and I guess let me talk about why I sold the camera. Well, I finally, after 3 years of use, felt like I reached the max capabilities of what this camera had to offer. With my coming projects and my shooting style, I felt like it was finally at a point where I needed to change. And the few features that I really wanted were, number one, internal ND filter. The FS5 gives me that. Not only that, it also gives me a variable internal ND filter that will automatically change for me. I also was looking for true S-Log, S-Log 3, 2, whatever, picture profiles, which I could have gone with something like a BMW F3 and gotten the same sensor, or even the FS700, but I also wanted to get 4K, and I also wanted the ability to shoot RAW if I desired. Originally, when I started looking at the FS5, I was looking at them without the RAW upgrade and figured when the time came and I needed it, I could upgrade to that so I could shoot RAW. But I ended up finding a camera that had the RAW upgrade and the high frame rate upgrade and the MPEG whatever upgrade installed already. But those are kind of the main reasons why I upgraded. I think that's where we're kind of going to end this. I'm going to miss the camera. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to miss the image that camera created. I'm going to miss the picture profile I built with it. And honestly, I'm probably going to try and create a profile for the FS5 that looks a lot like it and functions a lot like it that I can use straight out of camera alongside the S-Log 2 and S-Log 3 profiles. But for now, that's kind of where we're at. That's all I got. Alright, well, if you liked the video, hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, subscribe. Otherwise, I really don't know why the hell you're still watching. And on that note, I will see you guys later. Peace.